Hey guys, so what's up? Welcome to another video by Andrew, and it's been a long time since you've seen me. I'll explain to you guys later on. I mean, it's pretty much the usual. My health conditions, it's just not been, that good this year. This has really been the most toughest and baddest year for me. I mean, it's kind of depressing when you're 24 years old and you can't even sit for like 10 minutes because you have a back problem. And it's not a slip disc, that's the thing. It's just a kind of one of my ligaments. The backbone is just slightly bent out, so it just sucks that I can't do any surgery because I'm young. But I do apologize for the rest of my subscribers. I've lost some, I've gained some, but I do apologize that I haven't been uploading videos a lot than I normally do, and it's just really rough for me. It's just it's thinking about the future as well of this channel, the Attitude Era Fan channel. Will it go on? So I'm trying new stuff, and I'm really gonna go ham. If I can just feel better and get a part-time job, 4 hours minimum will be great for me. But I hope you guys can understand that. If not, I do respect your own opinions and your review and your own opinions and your views on how you take this channel. And if some of you do like my work and promos, I've asked feedback, and I'll ask you the game. Do you like it when I do intros or promos? Do you like both? What about the Titrons? Let me know. But in the meanwhile, I thought this is a video that's been coming a long time. I keep saying I'm gonna do this and I don't do it. But in this video, I'm gonna pretty much say what I think should be in the next wrestling game. It is that time where the new wrestling game is in production and it's going to be coming out. And I don't know why I'm getting excited, because I do this every time and something disappoints me. The only good thing I've heard so far is England get it a bit early than usual. When I mean early, we get it 2 days, because normally we get it in November the 2nd or the 3rd. Apparently we're getting it October 31st, which is okay. Just a couple of days early. It sucks when you live in England. We get everything late, including films. I think even Harry Potter came late for us. And it's an English film. Anyway, back to the whole point of this video. It's about time that I think, now that it's under, 2K Studios, I think they should really take an interest on what the rest of the YouTubers to comment about. Jed's World has this point. Mufti, I think, is the guy that knows the wrestling games. He makes a really good point. And I watched some of his videos, and he knows exactly what a wrestling game should have. Jedswell also has the same point of views. SmackDown Talks, I love watching these three guys, and there's one of my other friends is on there as well. He's also an English guy. What is his name? Vintage or something, I don't know. But he's another guy, and I think these guys know how to make what I'm talking about. If you're going to make a wrestling game, this is my argument, is when you make a WWE wrestling game, I think they should look back to the previous games. I personally think the best ever wrestling game I played was WWE SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. For those of you who don't know, it was released on the PlayStation 2. Why I define it as one of the best wrestling games of all time? Because it had a story mode. I'm not going to call it season mode. It had a story mode. And the one thing I loved about the story mode is it kept on going every year, and it didn't stop. It didn't stop and go to credits and end of the season mode. Once the games were developed, it had its story mode, but that was it. It didn't repeat it. You had to reload it and then start it fresh with another superstar. Now I know some people have complained that, well, Here Comes the Pain, it's it's the same old story. It repeats every year. But come on, if you look at if you watch wrestling since the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression, and the Golden Era, some of the rivalries, are always coming back. You use them, but you change the storyline a bit. But I had no issue with that. I still loved playing Here Comes the Pain because it was such a classic game. The only thing that made it funnier was it didn't have a commentary, and I think they got it wrong or some problems. So it was like one of the old wrestling games with no commentary. You didn't hear good old JR and Jerry the King Lawler, or Michael Cole, thank God. But it was still a classic game and one of my favorites. And the reason why is the modes it had. Slabanaka was the best mode, and I'm glad they brought it back for the Undertaker mode, because it was probably the best mode to see how good you were. And I love that mode back. And that was the first game to actually have the Elimination Chamber. I love that mode, man. I remember watching the first Elimination Chamber 2002. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Chris Jericho, Kane, RVD, Booker T, Triple H himself. It was a great match. Good match. So that was happy for me. But I think there's a lot of things that they can improve and add. If we're gonna split this into a long video and sections, well, let's start off in terms of your main mode in the game, which we sometimes, now over the years we've had story mode, which was back in Just Brin It. It had story mode. Then you went on to have story mode again, and Here Comes the Pain. And so from Just Brin It to Shut Your Mouth, Here Comes the Pain, it was all season mode, and it was still good. You could still play it all over again, and it was sick. When we went to the first SmackDown vs. Raw game, it was story, and that was it. 1 or 2 years, and that was it. Then the game was over, and you have to redo it again. It does not carry on. Like when I played Here Comes the Pain, when I was my created superstar, I won the belt at WrestleMania, and then 2 ways. 1, your opponent can shake your hand, or he attacks you from behind, or 3, you attack him, and then the rivalry goes on to Backlash. That's what I love about Here Comes the Pain. I don't have to pardon me if I piss you guys off, but I don't have to waste my time creating a storyline just so I can play a season mode every year. Now, I know what you people are thinking. Well, in the new wrestling game, you have WWE Universe mode, which is great. But to me, it just feels like it's a way to fool us and cheat us to what could be a brilliant game. I mean, it's like when you're doing a coursework and you want to have a great project. You got to put more research into it, and what you do, you set up servers, and you go and ask people questionnaires and all that. I think that's the one thing that wrestling games lack nowadays. It's a great thing, don't get me wrong. It's all about creative now, which I think is great for the young generation, and maybe our generation as well. You can create your own belts, which is the best thing. It should have never been removed from this game. But let me tell you something. Yes, you can create superstar threads. Yes, you can create your own belts. But the one thing which these last wrestling games haven't got, which I'm really fired up, is how can you not bring back General Manager mode? I mean, if you want to play General Manager mode, I think the best game to do it is SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, which you can play on the Xbox 360. I don't know if it came on the PlayStation 3. It probably did. It did, actually. Or maybe PS2, but that was probably one of the best games I loved. But the whole time, guys, I just played General Manager mode. I sucked at it. Raw kept beating me because when Raw kept beating my ass. I was SmackDown, I lost Undertaker. Raw signed him, and bang, I lost him. I had my good moments, but I love General Manager mode. It was the best mode. A lot of people have said that should be back in the game. The other thing I'm really disappointed is we had Road to WrestleMania. Now, I like the idea of Road to WrestleMania. I think that was brought to us in SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 or 2008. Maybe 2008, yes. 2008, where it all started, the Road to WrestleMania. Great mode. Definitely the best mode, because that's the time where you get the best matches, and you have to go to Royal Rumble and No Way Out, which is now Elimination Chamber, and to WrestleMania. Nowadays, as you know, when we went into WWE 12 was the last time we saw Road to WrestleMania. WWE 13 brought us what I think was the best for the old school fans, was the Attitude Era game. Attitude Era story mode. That I actually enjoyed more than the current game. The reason why I say that is because just going back playing the Attitude Era game, which featured CM Punk as the front cover and Austin, the special edition one, is that I grew up in that era and I watched the Attitude Era, and it was the best era of wrestling. That's my thoughts, because I was born in that generation. I called it the best era. Then you have the Ruthless Aggression Era and the Universe Era. So playing that game, watching the cutscenes, it was just fantastic. I enjoyed it. It felt like I was watching it. I loved it so much that I took my wrestling DVDs out and I was watching the old wrestling matches again. It was great. It got me back into the wrestling mood, because wrestling now, I have to admit, I have not been watching Raw completely for a long time since CM Punk left. It's not interesting, because I'm more of an old school guy, so CM Punk was the main reason I was watching it, and ever since Undertaker lost at WrestleMania, I just don't really give a crap. I think if he was gonna lose at WrestleMania, I know you're not gonna like this, but the guys that he should have lost it to is CM Punk or John Cena. or even Roman Reigns, I would not have a problem. But to a guy who just comes on and off, it doesn't make sense. It makes sense because it makes him look good, but this is a guy that's gonna wrestle for 1 year. That's what they should have said to Brock Lesnar. You can be Undertaker, but you're gonna have to wrestle the whole year. It's just ridiculous and stupid, but I don't know whose call that is. When you look at the wrestling games, and I think, this one, 2K14, it was featuring the best moments of WrestleMania and going through the whole, so from the old generation to the golden era and all that. It was a good game, but for me, when I told my friend, it was done. There was no excitement. There was not enough cutscenes. Half the stuff in this year's big storyline game it was in the Attitude Era. There's something lacked in this game that I did not like, and probably because there was not enough cutscenes. It was just pretty much, hey, why don't you go and play this match, see the promos, and go and play this match, and blah, blah, blah. There was not enough thrill. The Attitude Era was so thrilling. They could have done a second Attitude Era game, which is part 2, the McMahon-Helmsley era, or the Ministry of Darkness era, the Man Rock and Sock Connection era, the 316, or, the Ministry. They could have really done a second game, but, the fans probably would have loved it. But this game disappointed me a lot. It just felt like I finished it quick, and what's next? Oh, I know. Like every game, they want me to go online. No. I don't. As much as I'm a gamer, I don't like to go online, because you just have guys who cheat, and you have guys who just don't know how to play the game. Sorry, no offense. When you play a wrestling game, maybe this is just me being a jackass, but I'm more of old-fashioned. If I'm gonna play a wrestling game, I want to make sure they have fun, and I want to tell you guys it's worth it. If you people ask me, which is your favorite game in this generation, I'm going to have to probably say WWE 13. Because it just made me think back. That was why I loved wrestling, and now it's just, this game was just like, this is the new era, stick with it. If you don't like it, don't watch it. You can go to TNA. But TNA is also not doing good at the moment. I mean, everyone is just leaving that show apparently, and that. I think what they need to do for the next game is, maybe if you're gonna, let's see what this game could do. I think this game should have a general manager mode. It should definitely have a story mode. Maybe have chapters based on the Nexus getting together. Maybe the Wyatt family getting together, and the Shield and the Yes movement, get that into the game. Or, which I think would be a great story mode, but the problem is they can't do that, is the 365 days of CM Punk. That would be brilliant. Or John Cena going through this whole losing streak and then finally defeating The Rock and then Ryback. Maybe they should do that. Maybe they should do something different. I just wish it could go back to the old wrestling games, and that's basically make it a story game where it repeats over and over. Yes, change it a bit. Put some DLCs. I don't think, the wrestling games don't take the market really seriously. Otherwise, they can easily make a good game. I think that, if you look at other games, first time I've bought basketball game, I bought 2K14, loved it. I thought it was just something new, and I tried it. It was good. I've always played FIFA, and I've taken a break from FIFA. I might come back and get the new one, but it was something new. And I don't like usually saying that it's the end for me in wrestling, but we'll see how this game goes, and I still will do the wrestling games as much as I can. But here's the thing. For this to be a good wrestling game, or the best wrestling game, you gotta bring back, in my opinion, general manager mode. I think we need to have a general manager mode in the game. Now, we should have a proper elimination chamber, meaning we can see the entrances. I think it's about time you put that in. If you have to cut something, do a cut, but it's about time you let us see the entrance. I think that would really, really make the game even better, to make it realistic by showing the opponents entering the cells and closing it. I think Buried Alive should come back in the game. It was always my favorite match because Undertaker made it good. I remember Undertaker versus Mankind back, and then Undertaker versus Stone Cold. Kane interfered in that match. And of course the tag team, it was the Big Show and Undertaker, I think, against Stone Cold and Kane, I'm not too sure. That was on SmackDown. And one match that I think they should put is 3 Stages of Hell. I don't understand why they took that, because it was probably the best. 3 matches, whoever wins 2 wins. Or if it's 1-1, you go to the final match. That should be back in the game. And put 4 Stages of Hell. The user should, if they're gonna continue doing this customization, let us put 5 stages of hell, 4, whatever, 6, 8, who knows. Extreme rules is one thing I loved when they introduced it, let us there. But the one thing that I think, especially on the new generation consoles, Xbox One and PlayStation 4, is, and this is about time they should do, is you should be able to do what Here Comes the Pain did. Fight in the audience. It's about time. Come on, guys. It's so long. In the world how modern technology is and the graphics, I think by now wrestling should be able to allow its fans to wrestle, its wrestlers to wrestle in the audience. That's something that should definitely be in this game. If not in this game, maybe 2 years time or next year, it's got to be in the game. You should fight in the audience. I think when it comes to wrestling games, they are sloppy, because when you make the Shield entrance, that is just really, I'm like, that's it? That's not the Shield entrance. They come all the way from the top. I know you're thinking, hey, you know what, that's a bit too much. It's not too much, dude. If you're making a wrestling game, it's gotta be perfection. If not perfection, at least 60%. You gotta get it correct. One thing I really hate, which you guys should agree with me, is when I played the WrestleMania modes, The Rock. How is it that the old Rock had the new Rock's entrance? I don't understand that. Are you that lazy? I mean, I made our own video to show the correct entrance. It wasn't perfect, but it looked like it. What is this? Is called clumsy and lazy in one word. It was just lazy buggers. If you're gonna make a wrestling game, do it perfection, man. I mean, come on. I understand, doing the entrance for Elimination Chamber is too much, but are you telling me you can't be bothered to correct The Rock's entrance? That is just how low a wrestling you guys are. You guys can argue with me all you want and disagree with me and say you're not a game developer, but hey, you know what? How the hell can you put The Rock? How can you make an entrance wrong? That's just bloody lazy. They are really known to do that, and I have years played wrestling game and put up with this stuff, but it's just unbelievable. I mean, yeah, you can change it all you want. I know some of you will be like, dude, you can just change it. Yes, but come on, you play the game because you want to see the correct entrances, and you want to go and fight in the audience. You want to have, general manager mode back. I don't think you guys know how good for the new generation. If your brothers or your cousins are older than you and they got a PlayStation 2, go back. Oh, sorry, PlayStation 2, whatever. Go. Get SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, play that game, and you'll understand why all of us go crazy for General Manager mode. Why we loved wrestling games. You know what, matter of fact, just get a PS2, just bring it. Here Comes the Pain, and you guys will understand why we go crazy about it. But hey, you know what, it's a new generation, and it's good in a way, because it's a new era and how it suits this universe. What's another thing that I think should be in this new wrestling game? What matches is okay actually, but maybe it's about time we have a 6-man, more than a 6-man tag team match. Let's have an 8 tag team match or a 12 tag team match. There's some stuff that should be introduced in the game. 10. It's about time they put it. If you can do, a battle royal, then increase it a bit. So another thing is, I think, what's another thing they should do in this wrestling game? I think personally they should focus more on its main story mode, whatever. But they've got to put general manager mode back in the game, and they have to put, by all means, some more matches. Elimination Chamber, the full entrance. They should update. Oh, and here's another thing in Elimination Chamber which I don't get. Elimination Chamber is used for 2 things: 1, to defend the belt, or to become a number 1 contender. Recently they just changed the settings and they force you not to do that. Look, the whole point is it can be realistic, but don't make it too realistic. I know it sounds stupid in this video if you watch the beginning, but the user should have an option whether he wants to defend the belt or to make it a number 1 contenders match. That's how it should be, and both belts should have an option. When Randy became the undisputed WWE World Heavyweight Champion, when you do that in the wrestling game, you're only allowed to put 1 belt on the line. You can't put 2 belts in a ladder match. So improve that. There's a lot of things that they can improve, but if I have to choose one, I think it's the mode, because that's what's gonna sell the game, to a market. You gotta have a story mode, and if you're not gonna have a story mode, I think it's just time to bring back general manager mode, because I guarantee people will go crazy. And I remember Mufti was playing general manager mode, and I love his videos. Jed's well does it. Mufti is probably my favorite YouTuber on YouTube. He does such a good job uploading Here Comes the Pain, and I messaged him, and I was like, I just love your work, because it just reminds me the best times of when I was growing up and I played Here Comes the Pain. I don't think you guys know how good it is. Or then some people will say to me, hey dude, what about No Mercy? Now that, one of the classic Nintendo 64 wrestling games. Brilliant. I am sure Mufti uploaded himself playing that. But anyway, so what do you guys think? What do you think? What do you guys want? This new generation, this new universe of the wrestling fans, what do you guys want in the wrestling game? Put it in the comments. If there's another thing that I have to put, I probably would say that I think it's about that maybe they should have wrestling in the audience and backstage. So, sometimes matches drag along to the backstage. That's what should happen when you drag along. The referee will still count like it's a disqualification. Both wrestlers are counted out, but the match should still go on until someone gets KO. They should do that, because in Here Comes the Pain, or even not in Here Comes the Pain, actually, it was actually back in the other game. You could do it. You could just keep on fighting until you knock the guy out. So put that in the game. I think those are the most two important things, and rosters is great. I think there's nothing wrong. They just need to make it more, for the sake of the new generation fans, put the rosters of now and less of the old wrestlers for the new generation. Do that, because this is the new generation and they're going to make you money, not us. Most of the guys who are my age and who grew up watching the older, we don't watch wrestling anymore, or we just fell out of it. I don't think necessarily it's because it's fake. It's just we just fell out of it. I mean, now it's not anymore like the wrestling that we watched. Most of the guys I knew, some of them have just gone and watched TNA. I've never watched TNA. I've always stayed loyal. Even when the Monday Night Wars happened, I was always a WWF guy, which is now WWE guy. So it's just only now that I've just don't like it anymore, because it's not like old school anymore. It's just really now a show for family to watch it, and if I want to watch something with my family, I'll just go and watch a Disney film or a Pixar film. Wrestling is something that I loved, because you just watch it with your friends and see who is winning and that. And I've started to watch UFC now, because that's how much I really dislike wrestling. And I never thought I'd say it, but you kind of grow out of it. Anyway, so that's what I think. The latest news I'm going to update you guys quickly is, as you know, you can find this article at WrestlingInc.com. This was posted on July the 10th. As you know, and you can witness now, WWE are currently heavily booking Roman Reigns and they're as one of the top guys at the moment in the company. Now, as you can see, the really quick push. Actually, the fact is, if Daniel Bryan was healthy and he was in the business, and he would still be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, which means he would slowly be getting pushed and but still be there with Cena as the top 3 guys. But because Daniel Bryan is out, and it looks like apparently he's gonna have a shoulder surgery, so he's pretty much out for the full year. I think he may be out for even SummerSlam. So the ideal plan is most likely John Cena to defend his belt against Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns most likely will have a match against Randy, and then most likely will feed with Triple H and a big pay-per-view. Now, if they say big pay-per-view, then it can only mean 2 events probably, and that's SummerSlam or Survivor Series or even the Royal Rumble. But I think we're going to see Triple H versus Roman Reigns, and I think what's good for Roman Reigns' career, if Triple H loses and Roman Reigns pins him in a clean victory, that's what's going to build him up. Somewhere down the line, I think Roman Reigns will face Seth, because it looks like Seth is going to be pushed now as the number 1 heel. Roman Reigns is going to be as the number 1 face. It's just Dean Ambrose. I actually feel a bit bad, because I actually liked Roman Reigns out of the 3, but I kind of like Dean Ambrose now, especially after Money in the Bank, because he reminds me more like Scott Hall and Stone Cold and a bit of CM Punk. So I hope that he gets a push. He had a good match with Randy on Monday Night Raw this week, so I hope that he gets pushed somewhere down the line. I would like to see him definitely become champion, because I think out of the 3, he's actually better on the mic. Him and Seth Rollins are better on the mic and in the ring compared to Roman Reigns. He needs time, like The Rock needed time. But this is a quick push, and it's not like the old days where you can take your time and you have the other top guys to wrestle. CM Punk is not coming back, that's for sure. Bryan is injured. They're not pushing Dolph because he's an injury pro, so he's, that's why they're not gonna push him. Ryback is gone, and Damien Sandow is gone. Antonio is still taking time. I don't know why they're not pushing him. You have Antonio Cesaro and Dolph. Push these two guys. Who cares if they're getting injured? At least you're gonna make some money with the fans. So, I mean, that's my opinion. I'm actually a bit pissed. Like, I really did not want the Shield to split up so soon. I wanted them to go into Survivor Series and then Dean Ambrose turning on them. I was totally surprised that Seth turned on them. But hey, you know what? It's happened and they're not going to get back together. The reason why I do hate is there's now not enough groups. Wyatt family are the big threat and Shield are now that separate. There's no one else. I mean, Primetime players are separate. The Usos are still there. But I'm talking about big guys. The Wyatt family are the only guys there, and hopefully they continue to remain as a heel for the rest of the year and on the next year going. But there is rumors of turning Brad Wyatt into a face, and he's definitely going to be a good face, that's for sure. He's definitely going to be a champion. It's just a matter of time. And apparently it's early stages, but Roman Reigns is now the big favorite to win his first Royal Rumble, so he'll be the 2015 Royal Rumble winner. If he does, most likely he'll probably face John Cena or Randy or Brock Lesnar for this at WrestleMania. But apparently there is rumor, and it's still going, that Brock Lesnar is to put the belt on the line against The Rock at WrestleMania. Now, will Rock win? Most likely, yes, because he did lose against Cena 1 year ago. So you never know what's going to happen. You just have to watch wrestling and find out. And also, lately we got the legendary WCW wrestler Sting, former WCW wrestler, putting tweets out about him. There was a rumor that maybe next week or the following month, or in this month, July, he may show up finally in the WWE ring, and I cannot wait for that. But I think it's like, what's he gonna do? Because Taker's not there. The way Taker is, he's in pretty bad shape. So either he's gonna sort of team up with Vince to take on Triple H, or he will become a general manager for Raw, or he will go up against Triple H and have a match at Survivor Series. And if Undertaker's okay, then these two will wrestle at WrestleMania. But I kind of feel like, what's the point now of these two wrestling? Because Taker lost against Brock Lesnar. Just, it takes out the whole drama. It'll be a good match, but I wanted those two to face each other really at last year's WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania 30. But it happened, so I still wouldn't mind seeing it, but I'm not that thrilled, because even if Sting wins, it's just, the point is Undertaker's lost already. So I don't think it's going to make that match thrilling, but you never know. One thing WWE are good at sometimes is promos. They can make a match look good by just watching a promo. Also, regarding Daniel Bryan, like I said, most likely, from what I'm hearing, is he needs surgery now on his shoulder. He had his neck issues because he used to do the headbutt move. Apparently, some of the backstage guys have told him, you got to stop it now, it's not good for you, and even he's thinking about it. So, it's good in a way, because the more he looks after himself, the better we can see him more often. But it's just WWE not using these guys properly. That's part of the reason CM Punk left. Yes, he did not like being the number 2, and he, and behind Cena, but he was just worn out. And you gotta give a lot of respect to Cena, because Cena can do that as well, but he chooses not to. I've never ever seen Cena out for 1 year. I think I did 2008 when he won the Royal Rumble. But I give a lot of respect. I used to like Cena a long time ago, but not now. But I give him a lot of new respect, because the guy just puts his ass on the line. Whether you love him or hate him, you gotta respect him, because it's incredible what he does to him, what he does to that ring. And you can see why he is the number one guy, why fans still love him. I mean, I love him as a heel, and I hope one day he comes back as a heel. But for him to come back as a heel, there's got to be a number 1 top face. And I think Daniel Bryan's the only guy who can do it. I don't think Roman Reigns can do that, but we'll see how it goes. That's enough for me, guys. So the next pay-per-view is Battleground. I'm looking forward to it. I'll cover that definitely, but I hope you guys enjoyed this return video. Keep in touch with me, and hopefully I can get back and doing some new intros. Otherwise, peace out and have a nice day.